So then, like, he somehow gets the dad's phone number and is WhatsApping with him, and he's like, "I'm disappointed. Like, I'm a little disappointed that after a few weeks we still don't have the phone." And the guy responds, "You don't know me!" Exclamation point. And he goes, "By the way, when you text someone, you're supposed to say good morning first." I'm like, "What?" My dad's like, "Is that true?" I was like, "No, that is not a thing, dude. That is not a thing."
Is that true?
Yeah. Welcome back to Oops the Podcast.
All right, lots to unpack here.
I got something for you.
Please. Julio, I don't know where you came up with that idea.
Dude, this guy was a huge turkey.
What is this, Japan? Which is
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I hadn't told you about it.
No, and I also just assumed you were saving it for the pod if you were going to tell me,
Yeah.
which of course you were.
Oh,
But-
yeah.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Oops the Podcast. I am Julio Gallerati, joined by Francis C.C. Ellis.
Oh, boy.
Francis, how you doing, my boy?
I'm well. There's somebody has started a fake Francis account on Instagram.
Really?
I just reported it.
Nice.
No better feeling than being like, yeah, I got to report this guy who's pretending to be me.
Yeah, dude, I have a couple of those too, and it annoys me that still is not enough for them to verify my account. Like, how many fake accounts of me need to exist? How much more I got to do?
Yeah. I
Um,
don't know. I'm surprised. I'm not sure why that hasn't happened yet.
Well, dude, people have been asking about the results of the flight competition.
Oh, yeah.
Long story short, Gallerati takes the cake. He is the winner. I presented myself with a trophy.
Hard fought. Well earned.
Wow.
I want that. I want that.
For me, thank you very much. The best tournament I played this year. Dude, it says 2022 flight winner Julio Gallerati, guy in the sky.
Guy in the sky. The guy in the sky is great.
Guy in the sky is good. I'd like to first thank Brian F. Schultz
Fucking Brian
for
F.
giving
Schultz.
me a ride to Miami, without which I would have had 3 fewer flights and I would have actually lost the competition.
What was the final tally?
48-46.
You beat me by 2.
2.
This is really close.
Very, very close.
Let me see this.
I'm going to put this on the old mantle.
Well, what we need to do is we need to create. I'm wondering if what would be cool is if every year we could add the winner of the
dates,
year,
like
and
a
then
country
it's-
club.
and then it stays in the possession.
We should do that. It's fun.
Yeah,
It's a fun
but
idea.
that's pretty cool. Good
Thank
job,
you.
man.
Thank you, Francis.
Damn you.
It's amazing what you can do when you create a competition that no one else cares about. you truly can win. It's possible.
We did care. I cared.
Francis, I will say, at the beginning, it seemed like you just did it to like entertain Julio, and then you got more into it.
I got
and
into
then
it.
you actually started
I
to
thought I
care.
was going to win because of the honeymoon.
Oh, yeah.
I went so far ahead of him, but then I just didn't. I got to a point where I think it was really December, of the last month of the year, where I didn't have a reason to fly.
Yeah.
And you did, and the only way for me to have won would have been to schedule unnecessary flights.
Yes, which is against the rules.
It's against the spirit of the contest.
Correct.
So
Poor sportsmanship.
you
it
won
would have
fair
been.
and square.
Thank you.
It is a lot of flights, man.
It is, dude. I'll never forget when this like all came to be. We were on the flight to Boston. We were doing our show together in Boston. And I was like, "How many flights are you taking this year?" You're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" You're like, "Does anyone count that?" I'm like, "No, but I do."
I got excited. It was like many things that Julio's done to me. He reeled me in. He made me care about something I didn't know that I cared
Yeah,
about.
there we go, baby.
Yeah.
And also, Brian, thanks again for giving me the ride. I didn't realize I'd be flying on what apparently is one of the most dangerous airlines on the planet, according to Heidelberg, Taka Airlines.
Taka.
I believe they've been absorbed by Avianca, though. So I think I was on an Avianca plane, so maybe that's a better sign. Whatever. Good to be here. Good to take the W.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Okay, here's something fun for you.
Hit
This
me.
morning I had a very New York moment.
Ooh, love it.
Haven't had one of these in a while. I was about to take the subway into work, and I went all the way down to the subway tunnel and saw that the next F train was 19 minutes away.
Oh, God.
And I even looked at the train going in the other direction, because I can do that. I can take the train in the other direction, one stop, and then switch to the AC and then come up that way. And that was like 14 minutes away.
Ugh.
So I just said, oh, golly. Oh, gross. I walked out of the subway tunnel, and I had two options at that point: either take an Uber or ride a city bike. And it's somewhat balmy out on this January day.
It is.
Balmy.
It's balmy.
It's balmy. So I hopped on a city bike. Now, city bike has these electric city bikes, right? But they are a crapshoot.
What about them is the crapshoot?
Well, some of them have juice. Some of them have no juice. And once you get on one,
Chris loves e-bikes.
yeah, me
Well,
too.
you can check on the app how much each bike has.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I hadn't done that.
Yeah. If you click on the stop and then there's like a button that says like see more, it'll tell you how much each bike has.
Got it.
So you can avoid.
I need to do that going
Yeah,
forward.
yeah.
Because I hopped on one that had zero juice. And when you get on one that has zero juice, they actually are harder to bike than the
It's like the fan, the bike with the fan.
non-motorized ones. Yeah, they're heavier. They're not supposed to move that way. So
Really
that was tough. I went about 100 yards to a different city bike station, put it in, and then got on another e-bike. And I biked that around in a couple circles, and it gave me some juice. So I thought, okay, I should be good to go. Now, I needed juice because I had to go over the Manhattan Bridge into the wind.
That slow incline is tough.
It's a mountain bike.
Ah.
It's no joke. And, you're getting passed by guys on motorized
That's the scary part.
bikes.
Scooters zipping by you.
They're flying by, and it's narrow. And so I said, okay, I really need a good city bike. So I got on, and about 3 minutes into this journey, my bike said, aha, I didn't have any juice after all. Or we've used it up.
Does the holder not juice it back up? They have to manually do
No,
it?
all the batteries are swapped out, man.
At the end of the day.
So now I'm riding into the wind, up a hill, I've got a long way to go to get over the
to
bridge.
grandmother's house we go.
Yeah, and I've got no juice, and I'm on an e-bike, and
Jesus.
this is how I started my day.
You already lost $7 on the first e-bike too.
Yeah, exactly.
Hate to see it.
So I'm really grinding, and I get to the top, I crest the apex of the bridge, and then I get to coast down to the other side into Chinatown, where I then swapped that bike out, and they didn't have any e-bikes at that station, so I got on a non-e-bike bike.
Oh God.
And then I biked the rest of the way to the office.
Oh my fucking.
Like 35, 40 blocks on a manual bike. And
Yeah.
I arrived
Were you
sweating,
Yeah.
heavily sweating. But I was going from, where was I? I biked through Greenwich Village and crossed Manhattan near NYU, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think I was on probably like 8th Street or 9th
Yeah.
Street and about to get to 5th Avenue. And there was a line of traffic on 8th Street or 9th Street and then a red light. And I was cruising along the traffic on the left side of the cars, and I was cruising into a stop at the red light. And a guy, an older man, he's probably like 60, right? Walks out from behind a car, crossing the street, but he was not crossing in the crosswalk. He was probably 10 yards up from the crosswalk on 8th Street. And I almost hit him, because I was cruising into the red light to stop. And I swerved and I went, whoa. I gave him a whoa.
Whoa.
No, I didn't give him I didn't hit him with the 3 whoas.
You hit him with the whoa.
I went, whoa. And I swerved around him. And as I cruised to a stop, the light turned green. So I started going again, and he yelled, he goes, what did he say? He was like, there's a light. I think he said that. He's like, there's a light, meaning like there's a red light. And I turned around and I was like, you weren't in the crosswalk. I yelled that back over my shoulder. He goes, there's a light. And I go, you weren't in the crosswalk. Said it twice. He repeated himself. He says it twice, right? Then he goes, asshole.
Oh God.
And I turned around and I went, asshole. Just said it right back to him.
Like that?
Said it right back. Yeah.
In his tone?
Same way.
Excellent.
And then I stood up and piked off, and I was laughing. I was really enjoying it. I really enjoyed that exchange. It made me giggle. I was wearing my bright orange Moncler vest. So I looked like an asshole.
Did you purposely wear it just to make sure that you stood out so you're not hit by cars? It's like a hunting vest.
I put it on before I knew that I was going to bike, so I can't say that I
yeah.
did.
That still worked out, though.
Yeah, and man, I'll tell you, this exchange guy had a thick New York accent, called me an asshole, called him an asshole right back. Neither of us were bothered by that.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Neither of us was going to carry that with us the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a little dash of spice from this city that we live in.
Yeah. That's
There
funny.
was no meanness. It was never going to come to blows. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a New Yorker calling another New Yorker an asshole.
Well, let me ask you this, dude. You have been saying how you've had a little bit of a short fuse lately. You've been angrier than usual. And I've also been noticing that a lot of your stories involve altercations in the wild while going places.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that these things are related, or do you, because it doesn't sound like you're that upset about this situation?
No, I was very happy about it. I respected and appreciated this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was like, I'm sure we were both, he was convinced he was right, even though fundamentally I think he was wrong. Do you understand the way that I described that?
Yeah, totally.
Because if he's not going to cross in the crosswalk and he's crossing 10 yards in front of the crosswalk up the street, then he needs to peek his head because he's crossing in between cars.
Correct.
That have stopped in that line of traffic, and he needs to peer his head out to make sure there's no biker coming.
Not to mention, you're not at the light. You're approaching the light.
Right.
You're allowed to be moving still.
I don't need to stop with the cars in traffic. I'm a biker. I get to the light.
Correct.
It's
a separate thing.
Right. So, but New Yorkers never consider bikers, and that's fine. I don't give a shit.
We're learning to. I've learned to look both ways when I cross the street on a one-way because I know there's a biker coming the other way.
They go both directions.
And they're zipping around on those fucking speedy bikes.
Grubhub
Those guys are going 40 miles an hour.
They're going real fast. You can get crushed.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed the exchange, asshole. Just gave it right back to him. And then giggled. I was giggling on my bike. I loved it. It made me really happy.
As a biker in New York, you gotta be tough. I see a lot of bikers yelling at people.
Yeah.
You gotta, it's dangerous out there.
Sure is.
Gotta be seen.
Hard out here for a pimp.
Dude, it's funny you say that. I overheard a very New York guy sing a very New York thing the other day. And I walked by and I was like, that was great. Classic. Yeah. Some guy on the phone, I think he was like bitching about his boss telling him to do something. He goes, how am I going to move to drywall? What am I, Jesus Christ? It's not over. He goes, how am I going to move to drywall? What am I, Jesus Christ? Fucking asshole. I'm like, there it is, asshole. Perfect. I'm like,
asshole.
That's good.
Asshole is such a great sort of retro insult.
It is.
Calling someone an asshole, it's, it's not that mean.
Yeah.
It's not that mean. It's just like, I don't know. I thought about that, and then I thought about how I haven't gotten or given the finger in a long time.
Oh, wow.
Now, if someone gave me the finger, that would hurt me more than being called an asshole.
Yeah, yeah.
The finger is aggressive.
Bro, never forget, Hill Dog on our road trip from Colorado to LA, she drove for maybe an hour and a half, and immediately a guy passes by her and flips her the bird, and she goes,
Yeah, the finger is a call to arms.
Yeah.
You can really, it's...
The finger's bad.
The finger's bad. Yeah, it's bad.
I don't know.
Bad. I don't know how to feel about the finger.
Bad, dude. Well, dude, this is funny. So remember a couple weeks ago I talked about my dad recovering my mom's phone. It was this whole saga.
Hysterical.
So she left the phone, whatever. So he heard the episode and he told me that I left out a lot of important stuff.
Oh, good.
If you guys want to hear some of it, it's funny. So apparently he called the number of my mom's phone.
You want to give like a brief little...
Yeah, brief. Okay, so my mom, my dad, Zio Butch, and my brother's girlfriend, Natasha, went whale watching. This is the second time they've tried. The first time they didn't see any whales. They were given some sort of voucher to try again.
Mhm.
They had to leave like 4 a.m. to get to this place on time. It's this whole thing. My mom loses her phone, and this whole saga begins where my mom's now locked out of everything in her entire life because all the 2-factor is linked to her phone, to her number. They got her a new phone. She didn't need a new phone. We still had the old number. We got her back the old number, but the phone was still missing, and we're driving all over the New England attempting to find this phone. They end up getting it, but was that good enough?
No,
Okay.
No.
Okay. So sorry. You're like, it was definitely good enough, dude.
No,
too
not.
much. So anyway, he said he called the number and a 7-year-old answered, and
And
he
the
goes,
7-year-old's like, all right, if you want a big bag, it's 20. If you want a smaller bag, it's 30. Is
well, it reminded me of 2 things. Have you guys watched the show 1899?
that the Yellowstone spinoff?
No, it's like some like sci-fi sort of show, but I think it got canceled for season 2. But anyway, she like has to talk to a 7-year-old's the one who speaks English in the scene. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He asks her, he's like, "Can I talk to your dad?" And she goes, "No, he doesn't speak English." And then he goes, "What about your mom?" She goes, "No, she doesn't speak English." And then she goes, "My brother's here." He goes, "Does he speak English?" She goes, "No." Then he goes, "Where are you?" She goes, "I don't know." He's like, "Oh, this is great." So then, like, he somehow gets the dad's phone number and is WhatsApping with him, and he's like, "I'm disappointed. Like, I'm a little disappointed that after a few weeks, we still don't have the phone." And the guy responds, "You don't know me!" Exclamation point. And he goes, "By the way, when you text someone, you're supposed to say good morning first." I'm like, "What?" My dad's like, "Is that true?" I was like, "No, that is not a thing, dude. That is not
Is
a
that
thing."
true?
Yeah. So they call him like a month later, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna be in like Pennsylvania or something at my uncle's house. If you want to come get the phone, you can come get it then." He goes, "Okay." So he shows up. He goes to get the phone. He goes, "Hey, I'm here to get the phone." They go, "Describe the phone." He's like, "Who else is here picking up a phone? What are you talking about?" They ask him to show his ID. He shows his ID. He's like, "Yes, this is me, dude. Are you guys serious?" And then they finally get the phone back. So
Grab
I
the
thought
phone.
that was...
I don't know. iPhone 12, black case. Oh, you passed.
Dude, yeah. I was like, that sucks, but I'm glad they ended up.
Oh, I love that. Dude, my dad's been rocking the bird dogs that I got him for Christmas. And he does this thing now where when I call him, I say, "Hey, Dad." And he goes, "Hey." I go, "How's it going?" And he goes, "Just wearing my bird dogs."
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's the
Dude.
first thing he tells me.
I can hear him saying that.
Yeah. He's a big
phenomenal.
fan. He's a convert. As I knew he would be. You know, it's got the built-in underwear liner that makes it easier for any man to, just live his life with one less step.
Yes.
One less step for getting ready in your day. You step into a nice, clean, fresh pair of Bird Dogs pants, and that's it. That's all you need.
Yeah.
The
it's
underwear moves with you. It doesn't bunch up. It doesn't ride up. The pants look great. They really are. They're that cross between sort of a lounge pant and a I need to go out in the world and have people respect me pant.
great. Totally.
The perfect blend of both worlds.
And if you're like our pal, Mr. Feidelberg, and you enjoy wearing a jock strap, it is the perfect solution for such a strategy because your tush won't be resting up against denim or the back of pant.
Mm-hmm.
It will be insulated by silk underwear liner, and you'll feel good.
Boom. Guys, go to birddogs.com. You're going to use promo code OOPS. That's going to get you their signature tumbler. Carry any beverage of your choice, nice and cold, nice and hot, whatever it is, alongside your order. That is birddogs.com, promo code OOPS. You know, man, I'll tell you something. Can I tell you something?
Please.
Let me tell you something. America has a lot of really interesting people.
Yeah.
This is a very
Big country.
broad statement I'm making, but it occurred to me. I spent the weekend driving around with Ryan. We went to Delaware, and then we went back to New Jersey to shoot some interviews with some kids.
How'd it go?
Great.
Awesome.
And we met 2 totally different families, but they were both wonderful and unique, and had reached out because they had some really interesting, funny kids that they thought would be good for the show. And they were right. The kids were great. But when you drive around America and you obviously it's not like I've gone to the far corners of the country, but even in just going to these strangers' homes, who are inviting you in, and you sort of they're inviting you, a stranger, into their home to film their child, on a total leap of faith. I mean, it's a huge vulnerability, and we were, very polite, and they had made us some cookies, and they're showing us how they live and all this, and I don't know, it was an incredible experience for me to see how total strangers are living in their homes, to get a very intimate look into the lives of American strangers.
Agreed, bro. I find it fascinating.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And it was funny. I walked away from the whole day, I don't want to get give away too many details, but I would say that these families are middle class and very happy and great, and hardworking, and they seem to be living happily. I'm making a ton of assumptions here, but they seem to be very happy, and they have wonderful families. There's a coziness, a warmth, a togetherness, and I couldn't help but compare myself and my own discontent and my frustration about my own life and the things that are holding me back, or the fact that I'm not making more money, and
it's that New York City rat race, dude.
All this, and
I'm
like, Jesus Christ, man, you don't need all this shit.
I'm correct.
You don't need all this shit. Now, my question for you is, we have been exposed, you and I, to exorbitant wealth, as well as people of preposterously lofty ambition. Comedians, let's say, who truly believe, I'm going to sell out Madison Square Garden within the next 5 years, or I will consider myself a failure.
Mm-hmm.
Or
he's not exaggerating.
Yeah,
there are actual people who think like that.
We know people,
a lot of them,
in comedy who are on their way to being a top 3, 5 comedian in the world. I don't think it's a stretch to say that Shane Gillis is truly on his way to the Louis C.K., Chris Rock, Jerry Seinfeld level of comedian.
I agree with
and he's a good friend of ours. And it's kind of crazy, because as you and I have said, I don't know that we are eyeing the same prize.
Right. And to be clear, Shane, who actually can sell out Madison Square Garden probably, is not necessarily the person we're referring to who's saying that.
No.
We're referring to somebody, it'll be a person who's leaps and bounds behind where I am, being like, I'm not going to stop till I'm the greatest comedian in the world. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
People that really are just, even if they're not performing, they're at the comedy club every night, putting in their FaceTime. Their whole life is geared around the world of comedy.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
but they're just relentless. They are relentlessly pursuing a dream which may or may not come true. And so when you combine, in my mind, that level of drive with, our exposure to people who are making crazy amounts of money, it's very easy to feel like you're underperforming in your own life, and that even if you don't really know what your own expectations are for yourself within 3 to 5 years, that against the other people you're around, it's like, man, I'm not doing as well as that guy, or I don't work as hard as this person, I don't care as much. And it was a wonderfully recentering day to see that, by God, what matters is your family, getting outside on a Saturday.
Right. And also that success and wealth do not, by no means directly equate to happiness.
They don't.
As cliche of a thing as that is to say, it is true. It's a cliche for a reason.
Right.
If you have a good situation, you have good friends, good family, and, you have enough money to feed your kids and shit like that they say is enough. It doesn't surprise me.
I
that they say
agree. And again, I don't mean for all I know, these two families that I met might have crazy amounts of money, or be the most ambitious people and be discontented.
Right.
They
No,
didn't
you're not
seem
saying that they're not.
No,
but
it was my impression that, one, they were both very happy, and two, that they weren't eyeing all of their friends and as potential competitors and wondering how can I step on someone's throat to get to the next tier of my career,
right,
so that by 2 years from now I'll be here, and 3 years from now I'll be here. I don't know. I didn't get into those conversations. I'm making huge assumptions, but that was sort of my impression.
And dude, totally. It's easy to get to, like, okay, you meet somebody, you're of course going to get their like their good side, their all that stuff, but still, it still is a nice sort of like grounding, recentering, gives you perspective, shows you how other people live. This is why you got to get out there, dude, in the world.
Yeah.
I know I always say it, but
You're
every
really
time
good at it.
I get back from a trip, I feel this way no matter where I went.
Right.
If I go somewhere fancy, not fancy, it is a thing. And especially like getting to see how other people live their lives.
So here's my question for you from all of this. Does ambition breed discontent?
I think it can. Like it can, but I don't think it has to.
Right.
Like it can. Like by all the things you just described can be a product of like an ambitious outlook or an ambitious mindset where you're like, I need to be here. I need to do this. And now ambition, means, let's say it means that you want to achieve this, that, X, Y, Z. You want to achieve all these things, right? Now, the question then becomes, is the difficult part about that like the fact that you have not yet arrived yet? Because theoretically, you can be ambitious and still be happy and content. Because like getting to the goal is not going to make you complete necessarily. You know what I mean? So the goal should also be to be happy without being where you want to be. To me.
Right.
Is that confusing?
No, it's not. And the issue is that the closer you get to the goal, the more your ambition may grow, in which case the goalposts in the end zone keep moving farther
and farther away. And say you finally get to the end zone, and then what? You know what I mean? It's over now. And if you don't have like other sustainable things in your life that make you happy, you will not be happy.
Yeah.
So I do think that you can be ambitious and still be happy on the road to your goals. And I think you need to be.
I need to really work on that. That's very hard for me.
Yeah, it's doable.
I have this idea that, someday if I have made enough money, and obviously who knows what the fuck that would be, or if there is even amount, and that I'm tired of working, I'm tired of running around, that I'll retire early and then really focus on my family, my kids, and playing golf, right? Just play a ton of golf. And in my mind, my first thought is that, that I could be happy doing that. I could be happy just working on my short game for 2 hours when I'm, 45, 50 years old, and not, grinding at comedy clubs until I'm 65 or something like that. Mm-hmm. But then I'm thinking, okay, well, if by that point, miraculously, I have socked away enough money and I have gotten off the treadmill, either all I will have known for the last 25, 30 years is a certain pace of life that can't be replaced, or that I can't switch to peace from, in which case I'll have to go back to it, or I will just apply that same pace to golf or raising my kids, in which case it's like, all right, being that age and playing golf every day sounds idyllic, but all of a sudden I'm the fucking maniac at the golf course who's spending 2 hours in the bunker and who's, putting his scores in all correctly, and I've got a swing coach and I need to work on this aspect of my game, and even if I get down to scratch, then I'm mad that I'm not plus one or plus two, and then I'm not winning the club championship, all this stuff. There's no there's no retirement happiness in my mind yet. I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah, I think too, you can have like a vision of what you want your future to be like, but you shouldn't be too married to whatever image that is, because you don't know what it's going to be like when you're that age.
Right.
And don't forget, dude, you're a young man. Like you are in good shape. And, you know, in 30 years, bro, who knows if your dick's even going to work anymore. You're not
Right.
even going to be able to, like, these are good times, you know, you're doing well. Like, you're really successful as far as being a comedian is concerned. You will continue to be more successful, and you can strive for more, but you can still appreciate all the blessings, you know, like
Yeah.
you're a stud, you have a good group of friends, you have a dynamic lifestyle that's never boring or redundant. You know what I mean? Just
Right.
fucking lean into it and just have
Well,
a good time.
I appreciate all of that, and you're always so good at that. I think with that said, you know, I am trying to speak a little bit more abstractly, such that I want this to apply to more people if it does. I am aware of my my luck and my privilege and all of that in my own life, and I'm not ungrateful for it.
Well, but dude, this is also a perfect sort of testament to what we're talking about. It's like you may be lucky or privileged or whatever, but that doesn't mean shit. It doesn't
Yeah.
make you happier.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it just is what it is, and that's great. But like that doesn't mean like this whole like, oh, anybody who says, oh, what's he complaining about? If I had $1 million,
Right.
that guy just doesn't have $1 million. And if he did, he'd realize it didn't make him happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So don't feel guilty, dude. You know, it's a safe place, sort of.
Speaking of not feeling guilty, you know, I put out the call a couple weeks ago to our fan base to help me furnish our new condo and, you know, lighting and AV and all that. And I got some incredible responses. People, you guys are so great. Everyone was so generous. I have a number of people that I'm talking to who are helping me out. And a huge thank you to all of you. But I also, you had mentioned that there was someone in the comments on the YouTube page who had mentioned they would be willing to help me with
Custom woodwork,
which is awesome. And I did what I never do, which is I went looking for that comment specifically, and I found it. And sure enough, there was a comment right below it that was like, wait, did Francis really just ask people to help him furnish his condo in the same breath as saying that he bought a condo? And someone was like, that's pretty tone deaf, right? And then someone else was like, I couldn't believe he said that. I don't know what it was. I read this, though. And
I should have sent you a screenshot.
No.
Of the good comments.
It made me laugh in the same way that the guy who called me an asshole made me laugh, right? Because I was like, yeah, what would you have me do? You may call that entitlement, but I call it thriftiness.
Yeah.
And also, if nobody had responded, I wouldn't feel like, wait, why aren't these people willing to help me? I was just taking a shot in the dark. I realize it's absurd and that it doesn't, you know, it's not good form, but I have no shame. And the last piece that I will say is that I've learned the joy of helping people with what you can based on what you do professionally, right? I've had a lot of people reach out to me and be like, hey man, I'm thinking about doing stand-up for the first time. I'm really nervous. Do you have any advice? I've gotten emails. I don't respond to all of them, but I try to make a point to respond to as many as I can. And I offer what I can. You know, hey, record your first set, listen back, find the spots that you got laughs at, then go up again, use that and try to change the other things. Whatever. You got to write all the time, keep notes in your phone, just the basic stuff. Or, you know, if someone's like, hey, my son is trying to get a job at Barstool, can you help him out? He's an editor. You know, I'll see if I can do anything. I'll look at their reel, I'll write something. I take joy in using whatever maybe professional influence I might have to try to help people get started. And I think that these people who, you know, work at furniture stores or whatever, or interior designers, and they have a really good eye for this, are excited to potentially be like, hey, you know, we can talk, and like, here's what I've learned, and you can do it in a more cheap way. If you go to Facebook Marketplace, check out the Facebook Marketplaces in Greenwich, Connecticut, and like Fairfield County in Connecticut, and change where your location is, because you can actually find that people are getting rid of really
Dope
expensive
shit.
furniture. And like I'm going back and forth with these people, and it feels like they're enjoying it.
Mhm.
So that was what was fun for me, and I hope people didn't take it too wrong. Again, I don't expect anything to happen, but people did come through. Thank you. And if you have a son who's trying to get started in comedy, I promise I'll return the favor.
Well, dude, yeah, this is a good opportunity for me to fucking shamelessly shoot my shot,
Shoot it.
and I don't feel bad.
Shoot it.
Host me in your country. Let me know where you're at. I'll come, dude. So if you hit me up, shout out to Blake Buss, our boy in Nicaragua. I know I keep talking about Nicaragua, but we shot some stuff down there that I haven't put out yet. But I took a long shot on him. It worked out great. Had a good time with him, and look forward to the next one. So let me know. I think I'm gonna call it "Staying with Strangers." Will be the series if I end up doing it, but the Nicaragua one will be the first one.
I got a new idea for a series.
What is it gonna be?
So it's a little bit akin to the alternate side parking that I did. But yesterday I had to drive to the office because I had all this camera equipment from the weekend with Ryan. And I had to, drop off these huge boxes. And then I wanted to go park, but I didn't want to park in a parking garage. It would have been expensive. So I looked for a spot on the street. Now, it turned out that it was Tuesday during the window when certain streets are doing alternate side parking.
So
right?
people.
Yeah, but it was
off.
like 12:18 and the window ended at 12:30. So people were in their cars, but it was only 12 minutes until the end of the window, which meant that if I could find a spot, I would just sit in my car for 10 minutes and then I'd be good to go until the end of the day, at which point I can get back in my car and drive home. Now, I found a space that was about 60% of the length of my car. Right? But I knew, because it was alternate side parking day, that the people in front and behind of that space were in their cars. So they had a little bit of room in front of them to the next car, and the guy behind had a little bit of room behind to the next car. So I got out of my car, I walked onto the sidewalk, and I gave him one of these, can you put your window down? Can you? Guy puts his window down. I said, is there any chance you could just scooch up a little? He goes, no problem, I got you.
Oh my God.
And then I went to the guy behind. I said, hey, can you put your window down? He's roll your window down. Puts his window down. Is there any chance you could just scooch a little behind? He goes, I got you. And we created a space, which I then pulled into. We made space.
My parents would say, and they say New Yorkers aren't friendly.
We made a space. Now, my idea is this. How small of a space could I make into a space? How many cars could I get to move to create a space? Do you know what I mean? Because I got two. I got two, and that was easy. Just two people.
But to your point, it's hard to find people in their cars.
No, but I would only do it on alternate side parking.
During alternate side parking.
So I think we start with two cars and we show the goodness. Hey, can you roll your window? That funny, right? We start with two. Then the next day we go out. We try to do with four.
Move 4 cars.
Yeah, 2 in front and 2 behind.
Because out of necessity.
Yeah, I go to that first car and I say, hey, is there any chance you can move your car forward? They say, sure. Then I go to the car behind that. Is there any chance you can follow that car and move forward a little bit? Yeah, no problem. Right? And then I go to the 2 behind. And I'm thinking that a great achievement in my life would be to start with effectively no space in the middle of the block and get the entire front half of the block to inch forward and the entire back half of the block to inch back.
Wow, that's crazy.
To create a parking space for me. And then I would go up and down the line and I'd give everybody a cupcake or something.
Dude, it's alternate side parking. Just thinking about doing it, putting myself in your shoes gave me anxiety because of how difficult it was. This is even harder.
Yeah, because all it takes is one stubborn bad apple to break the chain.
Right. You're going to spend a ton of time trying to find the right scenario. and the payoff will be huge when
The
you do.
payoff could be huge.
Payoff could be huge.
I got 24 cars to create a parking spot. For
Dude,
me.
yeah, and that's the thing that's funny. You're going to the first guy in the line. You're like, hey, can you move up a little? And he's
Yeah.
like, why? You're all the way back there. I'm like, I know, but I'm gonna ask each person to move, and he's gonna be like, fuck you, get out of here.
Yeah. 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 And the problem is, if I get the first 6 cars to move, right, then the 7th car doesn't move, that he's undone all of the work of the first 6.
Right.
And that would be sad. But it's a game of social telephone in a way.
Yeah.
It is can I count on the goodness of this many strangers sitting in their cars?
Yeah.
How much unanimous goodness is there on this block?
Yeah.
And I think that's a really interesting experiment.
I like it, dude. I like it. And then the person who doesn't do it, you should fight him
I know.
in the street.
Or I'll mush his cupcake
Fuck
against
you.
his window. It's not easy to get. I thought you were going for a high five.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know why.
I was smashing the cupcake.
Yeah, just
but
mush it.
I did sort of.
Yeah, you
Fake
turned
you out.
it. I thought it's tough to get cupcake icing off your window. By the way, that's not
Really?
easy. Oh yeah.
Oh, because it'll just sort of like stick and.
Especially if you're using the cream cheese frosting.
Oh yeah.
That's the really sticky stuff. Yeah.
Brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I had a positive thing. I had a fucking upwards moment.
Upwards.
Which that was a term that we were using back in the day.
Sure.
Fucking upwards. So this is what happened. So I invested in like a retirement account last year, and
Okay.
just hear me out.
Good for you.
Thank you.
It's incredible.
Thank you. Tax deductible, so you got to get in there.
Gotta get in there.
Gotta get in there, dude. So anyway, I set it up, whatever. I thought, and I'd never really done this, so I didn't really know how to do it.
Was it a 401k or a Roth IRA or what was it?
It was a traditional IRA, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So put it in, and that's it. So then, I've been contributing to it, whatever, and I noticed that like it hadn't really been doing much. I was like, huh, and I like logged in and realized that I hadn't actually decided what to do with it. It was just sitting there as cash,
Oh.
which ended up aging extremely well
Because the market.
because of
went
how
down.
shitty the market did from the time when I invested it until now.
Nice.
So I'm pretty psyched about that.
That's pretty cool.
It's a W. I mean,
that's
like,
pretty cool.
pretty solid, I think.
That's really good.
I was fast asleep this morning,
Mm.
and I see a body approaching me,
Oh God.
a silhouette of a body moving in my
no.
direction.
Scary.
And I open my eyes finally, and I see my darling hill dog standing over me with an iced coffee that she had made with our Oops Beans blend from Brooklyn Roasting Company.
And you probably thought, "Am I dead? Is this heaven?"
Yes,
You
I
thought
did.
you were dead.
I did. I
Yeah.
had that moment as if I had arisen from a coma or I had moved on to the next life.
Wow.
And there she was with a metal straw sticking out of a big, delicious cup of iced Brooklyn Roasting Company coffee.
An angel
An angel.
comes to visit on the 4th day of January. That's so great, man.
Really,
Yeah,
really
I hate
solid.
to say it. My beloved also brings me an iced oat milk latte every single morning in bed,
What a doll.
and you get used to it. You get used,
you get used to it.
to the point that when she's a little late on it, I wish I had a little bell. Ding, 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 ding. Bring me my beans.
Bring me my beans, woman.
Brooklyn Roasting Company. We have our own signature coffee. It is the Oops blend. It's absolutely delicious. They have so many great coffees. They're from right nearby where I am living in Dumbo in Brooklyn. It's the they have a plant. It's in the Brooklyn Naval Yard.
A plant.
Really, really cool spot. Great roasters. Truly delicious coffee. We highly recommend it. You get some. Join their signature subscription club. You'll get a coffee of the month. BrooklynRoasting.com. Promo code OopsBeans. That'll get you 5% off. Guys, go to BrooklynRoasting.com. Promo code OopsBeans.
So, dude, this is funny. So, I've been watching the Australian Open.
Really quick, have you watched any of the Netflix tennis?
Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
I just started it last night. I'm really excited
It's
about it.
awesome, right?
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying that as well. I haven't finished it yet, but I think I'm like 5 episodes in. I don't even know how many episodes there are.
Did you watch Last Chance U?
No.
It is excellent.
The new one?
It's season 2 of the basketball team, East LA College.
Oh,
Elak.
sick. I didn't watch season 1. I don't think.
Oh,
I need to watch it?
dude.
I'll watch it.
I think the basketball is the best, other than maybe the like first or second season of the football in Mississippi.
So I should watch the first season of the East LA and then watch. The
You
second
need to
season.
watch season 1 of East LA,
Okay.
and then I would say that this season is almost even better.
Wow.
The storylines are just like
Phenomenal.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, I gotta
Yeah.
watch it.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. That's sick.
Australian Open.
But yeah, so I've been watching the Australian Open and I've been doing a little gambling, and it's funny because on the gambling app, it is in real time more so than the TV. The TV has a slight delay, very slight. It's usually by maybe a point. So what I'll do is I'll be sitting there looking at what the actual score is while watching it with Hillary, and I start predicting what's going to happen, having already known what's happened. I was like, he's going to win this point. Wins the point. And I've done it probably like 7 times, and she's not like really giving me anything for it. But I intend to do it forever until we get to the point where she's like, he's really good at predicting what's going to happen. Just this giant lie over a very long period of time.
Why is this doing something for you? Why is that moving the needle for you?
I don't know. It's just a little bit of a little micro prank, dude. We love micro pranking. It is a little bit of a micro prank.
Oh my God.
I've really been enjoying doing that.
That's
dude.
pretty fun.
Yeah.
There's that great scene in Groundhog Day when, he's well into reliving the same day over and over, and he's just sitting in the bed and breakfast with all the elderly people there, and they're watching Jeopardy.
Oh, and
He's just like eating popcorn. He's like, the Grand Canyon. And, they're like- and then he gets everyone, and he starts answering them before the questions even.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, it's really good.
Really good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Well, real quick before we wrap it up, how is your lovely wife doing?
She's in good. Her spirits have improved. There have been major, I would say things are really trending in the right direction. She goes through some days where she wakes up and just is really stiff. A lot of neck pain, a lot of joint pain. And that sucks. But then other days she feels young and sprightly, and spirits are good. She's just sort of moving through life and knowing that she has to keep going. It's not an incapacitating thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I admire her stick-to-itiveness and her perseverance through this. And we are still going strong with dry January. I will admit that on the day that I shot with Ryan in Delaware and New Jersey, oh my God, I didn't even tell you this story. I got to tell you this story.
Okay.
So, we woke up at like 6 a.m. on a Saturday. I had a late show on Friday night. I was off stage at like 12:30, got home at 1, went to bed at 1:30, woke up at 6. So I'm going on 4.5 hours, 5 hours sleep, which hurts me. I'm not capable
It's
of
tough,
that.
dude. It's tough.
I'm not good at that. I wake up from that and I'm like, oh, I am delirious.
Mm-hmm.
We load up the car with the dogs. We got all this camera equipment in there, and we drive. Ryan's sitting in the back. I think he's got Kojai on his lap, or maybe, I don't know. It's packed. We drive to Sierra's family's home in Pennsylvania. We unload the car there, and then we drove to pick up our other producer, John Kelly, from the Hamilton, New Jersey train station. So now we're at like 2 hours of driving. Then we drove from Hamilton, New Jersey to Delaware. That's an hour and a half. So we're at 3.5 hours now.
We're in Delaware, you guys.
We were in Middletown.
Oh.
Yeah. And so now we're at 3.5 hours of driving. We shoot there, and then we drive back to Hamilton to shoot with another family. It's another hour and a half. That's 5 hours of driving now. We've had to stop to charge the Tesla a couple times.
Was that difficult?
No, there was a charging station, but we didn't bring it all the way to like 100 because we were kind of pressed for time. Shoot with that family. I take the boys back to the Hamilton train station, right? And then I was at like 12 or 13 miles left of charge on the Tesla. And so I thought, oh boy, okay, I guess I need to charge before I can even drive back to Sierra's family's house because I could charge it at their house just with the wall socket, but I couldn't get there with the amount of charge that I had left. So I looked it up. I looked up some charging stations. I drove to one, and it didn't have a compatible plug with the car. It was for like regular EVs. And I was like, shit. And now I was down to 2 miles.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, all right, well, what do I do now? And I asked one of the guys who was charging his EV in that place, and I was like, what do I do? And he's like, well, you need this type of charger. And he looked it up on his app on his car, and he was like, there's 1.4 miles away at this Chevy dealership, but I don't know if you're going to have access to that or if I think they're closed. And I was like, all right, I have to make a judgment call right now.
Holy shit.
Where
this is good.
I either need to leave the car in this mall parking lot overnight, have Sierra come pick me up, and then just call AAA in the morning to have it towed to a Tesla charger.
Ugh.
Or I can roll the dice and try to make it to that Chevy dealership, even though first of all, I'm not certain I'll make it because I was down to like 1 mile on my charge, and also have no idea if I can charge it there and if they would be mad or tow me if I left it there overnight. So I decided to roll the dice, and I rolled into this Chevy dealership. The lights are all off. It's closed. It's 8:30 p.m. now, and I'm looking for this charger, and I have no idea where it is. And I drive around the back into the employee parking lot, like this little ramp thing, and I see the charger on the wall, and it's plugged in to an employee car. So I pull in quietly, turn my lights off, and I unplug it from that employee car. I attach the little adapter, and then I plug it into my car, and it is charging. I mean, it's adding 1 mile every 5 minutes.
Oh my God.
So it's really slow. Now, Sierra's family's house was 23 miles away. So I quickly did the math, and I was like, all right, I'm going to be here for 2 hours.
Jesus.
I'm going to be here for 2 hours. Or I could get to about 20 miles and then drive 8 miles in the wrong direction to a Tesla supercharger, get a fast top up there, and then go back to Sierra's
How long does the
family's house.
supercharger take?
It's quick.
Like 10 minutes?
20 minutes, 25 minutes
Fills
will
you
get
up.
you like 75% of your thing.
Got it.
So I'm sitting there, and I also know that at any point, a Chevy security guard or somebody could roll through.
Hey,
and
what are you doing?
And see me and tell me, get the fuck out of here. Hey, scram, clowny.
Beat it.
Beat it. What do you think that is? You think that's for everybody? So I realized that I don't have that much time to charge, right? At any moment, I might have to unplug and get out of there. And so I turn the heat off, and I turn the lights off. I turn everything off in the car so that it'll charge faster. And I'm sitting in a dark employee parking lot, illegally siphoning electricity from the employee charging station at a Chevy dealership, wearing my jacket in the freezing cold, thinking, wow, Tesla fucking sucks. This car sucks ass. Dude, I am so anti-Tesla from this fucking experience. They aren't there yet. They're not there yet. They don't have enough chargers. The fact that all the EV plugs aren't compatible with Tesla, that they don't have an adapter thing. Some of them do. Some of them are. You can plug a thing in, but a lot of them aren't. And man, all these other people driving these other EVs seem to be living a much better life than Tesla people. They really do. It's I don't know, man. I think the answer right now for this moment in time is the hybrid EV that does gas and electric. A lot of them, Sierra's family has one. It's fucking awesome.
Like, how do you fill up? Like, when you fill up the gas, is it only like half of what a normal tank would be?
No, I think the tank's a normal size, but you also get 50 miles of charge on the electric alone. So if you're just running around town doing errands, the car's an electric vehicle. And then if you're, doing a trip on the highway, the car combines the electric power with the gas, and you get insane gas mileage.
Really? That's
insane gas mileage. And that is a really good technology right now, I think. And if I had my druthers, I think I would turn this Tesla in.
Grab your druthers, my brothers.
And try to buy one of these hybrids, dude. I'm telling you, like you're completely beholden to wherever fucking Tesla chargers are.
Yeah.
When you're out on the road, and it was just a shitty experience. I spent an extra 3 hours in the car from when I thought I was going to get home because of this situation.
I'm sorry, dude.
Sucked.
And then, so did you want to have a drink after that?
I finally got home. Sierra and her mom had already gone out to dinner. I joined them, and I was like, yeah, we're doing dry gin. You know what? I need a fucking Negroni.
Attaboy.
Attaboy. And I had a Negroni. I broke the dry January, but I had one drink.
Delicious.
That was it. I didn't have a glass of wine with dinner. I just had one Negroni. Let me tell you something. It was fucking delicious.
Oh, I bet.
As soon as it hit my lips, I said to the boy, uh-oh. Uh-oh. There is something. Have I said this? There is something about doing dry January that unfortunately has really crystallized how much I like drinking.
Yeah, no, you haven't said it, but I understand the feeling.
It has made two things abundantly clear in my life. One, not drinking is such a healthy thing. It is so good for you not to drink.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate how clear that lesson has been from this. Not waking up hungover.
Do you feel generally in a better mood?
My
Happier?
energy is better. My fogginess is gone.
Yeah.
My clarity of thought is perfect. Biggest thing for me is I wake up on a Saturday morning, right? And you're in bed, and you're so accustomed to being like, oh, I'm feeling a little hungover, whatever. Ooh, gotta shake it off, get moving, get in the shower. And even if I'm not feeling great because I didn't sleep perfectly or I'm a little stuffed up.
It's a completely different feeling, though.
I know it's going to be gone in a matter of seconds. I know that it's, and I know knowing that it's not from alcohol, from putting poison into my system, the knowledge gives me peace of mind.
Power and more energy.
It's like 40% of less anxiety to wake up with when you're not remotely hungover. So that has been abundantly clear, is that not drinking is seems to be a far better, healthier way to live. The other thing that has been abundantly clear is, by God, do I miss drinking? I miss it. I miss having a beer at the end of a hard day in a frosted glass. I miss having a glass of white wine with some fish, nice dry, white Burgundy or a Sancerre. I miss a meaty Cab Sauvignon. Whatever it is, I just
yeah, dude. And this is, as a great Will Winner once said. You know Will Winner?
No.
Great guy, great comic. He was talking about like fitness, and he's like, we're adults now. He's like, we're in our 30s. He's like, 2 to 3 quality drinks will get the job done. No need to have a 20 White Claw night with Danny Palmer.
Yeah.
I'm like, well said, dude.
Spot on.
Well said.
Spot on. Exactly. I don't miss those nights.
Yeah.
I miss a drink.
Couple good drinks.
So hopefully, Julio, the result of this experiment will be a more measured approach to drinking.
Love it, dude.
My resolution as of right now is to come out of dry January, not drink during the week.
Oh, nice.
And only drink during the weekend.
I like that.
Because I like waking up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with this total sober energy.
Yeah.
But
it makes you feel in control of your life.
I just do like a little special treat. An old Negroni.
100%.
For the boys.
Dude,
Cocker Spaniel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll be back and
We'll be back.
drinking ways.
We'll be back.
Ryan, you got anything good for us?
Yeah, we got a couple things. But first, Francis did have a hero we need moment on our trip on Saturday. When we were charging the Tesla at one of the stops, there was someone that had a tough time figuring it out. I caught Francis helping this person figure out how to plug their car in right there.
Oh, look at that. He is indeed the hero we need.
This guy
you were there.
This guy had rented a Tesla. It was his rental car, and he rolled his window down. He saw us charging, and he was like, "We have no idea how to do this."
It's hard.
No, but if you don't know, I guess
Yeah.
He had come in nose first, and the charging portal is in the back of the car, and so I was like, "You got to turn it around, plug it in, and then hang for 20 minutes or so."
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was cute.
Very
Electric
cute.
bikes can go up to 28 miles per hour.
Jesus Christ.
There were 1,591 e-bike accidents in 2022 in New York City.
Wow.
And fucking upwards originated or was first introduced in episode 6 of Oops the Podcast.
Wow.
With
Wow.
Andrew Schultz on September 5th, 2019. Check it out. if
Good
you're
find.
Wow.
Good find, Ryan.
Wow.
Very well done.
That's
Facts
great,
with
Ryan.
He was not lying.
Wasn't lying.
Francis, what do you got coming up?
Philly might be sold out by the time of this, but if there are any tickets left, go get them now because they're almost gone. February 1st at Helium. Then I'm in Atlanta that weekend. February 4th, February 5th, I'm in Nashville. Those tickets are all going fast, people. Seriously, I'm not fucking around. Then we're on to Minneapolis, Chicago, Dallas, Austin, and San Francisco. I can't wait. Ooh, and we're adding a show in Long Beach, Long Island. That's going to be really fun. That's going to be the last weekend of February at the Beach House. Can't wait to see you guys there. Tickets at francisellis.com. Hero We Need Tour.
Awesome. I'm in DC Improv, 3rd to 5th of March. Come check me out. Then at Comedy Connection, Rhode Island, April 14th and 15th. And then I believe the last weekend of the month, I'm at the Yonkers Comedy Club for that weekend. Sorry to the Atlanta people. I don't know what's going on. We're trying to lock the date down for sure. Still expect it to be in April if it ends up moving a little bit. Hey, don't shoot the messenger, huh? But hoping to lock that down soon and see you guys on the road. Thanks.